Hey everyone, Feeny here from Feena Reads. Welcome back to my channel. This has been a journey. As you can see, my setup has changed a little bit. Well, quite a bit. I mean, the angle is just different. I'm still in the same room. I'm still in front of the same bookshelf. You just see me from a different angle. I have a light now, like a real one, fancy and professional and all of that. I hope I'm in focus right now because that has been a journey too to get that all set up. Let me know down in the comments if you see anything that I should change. But you're not here to listen to me figuring this stuff out. You're here to talk about books, and that's what I want to do as well. And in this video, specifically, I'm going to talk about my September TBR. And there are two things that I'm excited about in September. One is Stacey over at the Chapter Conundrum usually does a serial September where it's all about continuing series that you've started. And boy, have I started a lot of series lately. So I'm definitely going to use Stacey's theme to my advantage because it is needed. And the other thing is, well, it's Sci-Fi September. So I picked up some sci-fi books that I'm excited to read. But before we get into that, let's talk about the fantasy books that I want to read because that makes sense, right? And we're starting the fantasy books with the continuation of the Gunmetal God series. I've read book 1 not too long ago, and you can check it out over there. I put my review that I specifically did for Gunmetal Gods. I will put that in the cards and in the description down below, and all those links, the typical stuff. And I didn't get to reading Conqueror's Blood in August, which is where we are still right now. I might get started on the last day or so, depending on how the current book and the next book that I want to read, how that goes. But the majority of the reading will be done in September, and the same with Elder Epoch. And it's about time because book 3 comes out on September 3rd, so I will not be able to start right on the day of the release, but probably shortly after. The other series that I want to continue is one that I just started, and that is the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. The Drawing of the Three is book 2, which I want to read in September, so I'm currently reading The Gunslinger. If you want to know what I think about it, you have to wait for my August wrap-up, which comes out in about a week. So don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, if you want to see what my thoughts are on The Gunslinger. But, I mean, this is already a good sign, right? That I want to continue the series. It's already a good sign. So I'm excited about that one. In a similar vein, I want to continue Midnight Tides by Stephen Erickson. I just wanted to say by Malazan, but not that, no. Which I already started. This is not where I'm already further along. I'm currently reading it on Kindle. It makes it a lot easier because this thing is heavy. Like I could use this for my weightlifting. Yeah, I'm thrilled that I started. And I'm realizing I thought this was about a different character, which is why I have been hesitant for starting this for such a long time. But now that I know who it actually is about, I'm actually really excited. I also switched to English, if that is not obvious now. I've been reading the first 4 books in German mostly, but I decided with the end of book 4, you know what, I'm just switching to English, and I'm so happy I did. The English is so much better. I think the German translation is just not good. So I will continue with Malazan in English, and I have to read it in September ideally. Yeah, this is going to go well. I already know that because there's something coming up in October that will not allow me to read this. Hint, hint. We'll see, Surprise, surprise. But anyway, so I really want to try to finish this in September because otherwise I have to let it sit for all October and then continue in November. We'll figure it out. Another series that is about time that I continue that is the Eric Carter series by Stephen Blackmore. I've read book 1 and 5 on audiobook, but I want to reread book 5. There was so much new stuff that was introduced in book 5 that I somehow missed a bunch of it while listening to the audiobook. So I want to try the ebook version of it. But that is a series I had so much fun with, especially book 1 till 4 have been a blast. I really enjoyed the story of Eric Carter, and I want to continue with that series. I'm hoping, since it's only 9 books, that I can finish it out this year and then start with another urban fantasy series next year. Now, 2 books that are not series continuations. The The first one is from our fellow YouTuber Bookish Chaz. He's coming out with a new book, which is called The Nomad's Crucible. It's coming out in October, and he was nice enough to send me an e-arc of his new book. So I'm really, really excited to finally read a book by him. I mean, I have his first book, Teller's Guest, on my shelves for a while. I'm so sorry, Chaz. I just didn't get to it. I know it's a short story collection, and he told me that The Nomad's Crucible is playing in the same world, but you don't have to have read the short story collection in order to get Nomad's Crucible. But this is a book 1 in a series. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in reading that and exploring his writing, exploring his world. I'm excited. And speaking of Chaz, he put out a review of Robert Jackson Bennett's The Tainted Cup the other day. And while I've heard about this book before, it has been around on BookTube for a while now. I really didn't know what it was about, but Chaz's review was so great that I'm now actually really interested in reading this book. It sounds so out there, quirky, unique, different, and that's all the stuff that I love. I'm also putting his review down below in the description if you want to go check it out. And with that, we are finally moving into sci-fi because it's Sci-Fi September. Is there even time to read another book? Oh my good lord. Starting with Ray Bradbury's Driving Blind, which is September's book pick for the Ray Bradbury Book Club over at the Bookish Drummer. Say that 3 times fast. And this time I am prepared, and I already put it on hold for my library, so it will be ready for September. I have been a bit late with other books in the past and missed them because of that, but not this time. I'm determined to read this. I'm enjoying those so far, and I will talk a little bit more about that in my August wrap-up next week, because I'm currently reading The Martian Chronicles by Ray Bradbury. Like, his tone is very similar, and the way he tells the stories, of course the stories are different, right? But the way he tells the stories are all very similar. So reading one book a month gets a little bit repetitive, it feels like, but I definitely want to give this one a try and just see where it goes. And by this point, it feels like my hair is giving up, so we're just doing this now. The other sci-fi book that I want to read is either one of the following 3. And I had these 3 on my shelves for a while now, and every time I walk past them, I'm like, oh my god, I want to read it so bad. I can't even tell you what they're about. But 2 of them, Emily Fox keeps talking about on her channel, and her sci-fi taste seems to be very similar to mine. And she also reads interesting topics when it comes to sci-fi, and I like quirky things or out there ideas generally when it comes to sci-fi. The 2 that she has introduced me to is one, Remnant Population by Elizabeth Moon. She also wrote The Sheep Farmer's Daughter. I don't know what the series is called right now, but a fantasy trilogy that I also want to read really, really bad. And then The Wall by Marlon Haushofer. The concept of this book also sounded very interesting when she talked about it. Also, I find this cover very cool for whatever reason. So, you know, we're going with those 2. And then I said 3 books. The other one was a random find, which is Roadside Picnic by, my Russian is not going to exist today, but Arkady and Boris Strugatsky. If I understood this right, is kind of a sci-fi classic and a bit older. And I don't know why, but this speaks to me. Don't ask me why. This cover is nothing special really, but somehow I looked at this. I have no idea what this is about, but I looked at this and was like, I need to read this. And these are the 3 books that have been sitting on my shelves for weeks and months. Well, let's face it, some of them years now. And I want to give it a try. Obviously, I will not get through all 3 of these in September. I highly doubt that. But if I can read at least one of them, I'm a happy camper. And let's get into the thriller horror section, although I think it's more thriller this month. We will see. I'm not 100% sure for some of these books. Starting with Megan Miranda's All the Missing Girls. This was the Thrill Chill book club pick for March over at the Bookish Drummer. And I don't even know anymore, but for whatever reason, I didn't participate back in March, but I found the premise interesting, so I put it on my wish list, and then the amazing Jessica gifted it to me on my birthday, and I put the audiobook on hold also on my library, so I probably will do an immersive read for this one, but I'm really hoping to get through that because the hold actually should come through in September. So this is number 1. And then speaking of this Thrill Chill, my god, Jake, you need to pick easier names. This is getting ridiculous. But of that book club over at the Bookish Drummer Discord, their actual September pick is the September House. Again, I was prepared this time, so I put it already on hold on my library, and hopefully we'll get that early September so I can participate in that one. But this cover looks cool. I have no idea what it is about. That's how I love my thrillers. And then the third one that also will come through as my library hold in September is The Next Miscarriage, which is book 2. I don't know if it's really a series or not, but the author pair, Liv Constantine, published a continuation of their original Miscarriage book. And I actually really like that, which doesn't seem to be a popular opinion. But I love this whole intrigue of her inserting herself into that family and starting to break them up from the inside. And there was a lot of very cool moments in that book. So I want to see how that continues. So I think we have enough books on the list to pick from. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see in early October how many of these I actually got to. You can put in your bets now. That's what I want to read in September. Let me know down in the comments what you want to read in September. Which book are you excited about? Let's talk about it. I'm excited. Alrighty, that's all I had for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day and that I'll see you soon with another video.